So welcome to the Live Well and Stay Healthy Wellness webinar series brought to you by the Family and Community Health Sciences Department at Rutgers Cooperative Extension. My name is Joanne Kinsey, and I am FCHS agent here in Atlantic and Ocean counties, and I will serve as your host today. I am very excited to be hosting this presentation on longevity and healthy living. This is a very interesting topic, and we all can certainly learn something from it. So today it gives me great pleasure to introduce my colleague, Rachel Tansey. Rachel is a senior extension associate for the Family and Community Health Sciences Department under Rutgers Cooperative Extension in Monmouth County. Ms. Tansey earned her bachelor's degree in nutritional sciences from Rutgers University and a master's degree in holistic health from Georgian Court University. Rachel works with local partners to educate residents on various topics centered around nutrition, wellness, and healthy well-being. With primary concentration areas in community health, education, wellness and self-care, nutritious eating, and healthy lifestyles, with an emphasis on wellness in the workplace. So without further ado, I will hand things off to you, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Joanne. So today I just wanted to go over a little bit about our longevity and our health. So with the new year upon us, Happy New Year to all. Aging is inevitable. So it's really just up to us and us individuals and us as a whole collective about how we'll go about it. And really our outlook and how we can sort of approach the topic and approach our own health. So before we move on, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the facts. So about 2/3 of the adults in the US are overweight or obese, which is sort of can be a problem. And about 1 in 6 children ages 2 to 19 are either already overweight or at risk for being obese as well. That's just the facts. Obesity, unfortunately, is linked to over 60 chronic diseases. So that being said, that means being overweight or obese can lead to other diseases, some of which are type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, which can then lead to other cardiac issues. 60% of those obese children ages 5 to 10 have at least already one cardiac risk factor. It can also lead to high blood cholesterol, things like asthma, sleep apnea, even low self-esteem can be a risk factor. More commonly, if having low self-esteem, those adolescents, teens, adults can even lead to consuming more alcohol and likely to use drugs. And the chances of our obese children and teens will likely become obese adults. So these risk factors are very serious and can lead, as I said, to those more chronic diseases. So carrying that excess weight can lead to other things as well, which oftentimes we don't really think about, but really can be a problem as we go on about our lives. So things like arthritis or varicose veins, fallen arches in our feet, abdominal hernias, respiratory problems, and as I mentioned, the low self-esteem, which can lead to some mental health issues as well. Changes in our bodily functions, such as the heart disease, like I said, the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, even some cancers, type 2 diabetes, surgical complications. Sometimes you can't have certain surgeries if you are morbidly obese, or you have to go through certain complicated, parameters in order to get surgery. The sleep apnea can be an issue. That's, you tend to either have to go through sleep studies, or you tend to kind of stop breathing while you're sleeping. Gout can be an issue, gallbladder disease, and complications during pregnancy as well. So there's a lot of weight-related conditions as adults that can maybe possibly be prevented if we are cognizant of our weight and can try to prevent them. So with that being said, let's talk about how we might be able to reduce our risk. And it's never too late. So we can maintain our healthy weight if we are already at one. And if not, we can try to get there. So we want to try to improve our dietary habits. Now, some people might already be at a healthy weight, but maybe they don't really eat so well. And that could be seen sometimes in our numbers. Maybe, you get your blood work done at the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you might be a great weight, but your cholesterol is not so great. So you want to make sure that you have good, healthy cholesterol levels, and you're going to ask what your numbers are, and not just the overall number for cholesterol. You want to ask for your HDL and your LDL numbers. You want to know your triglyceride numbers. You want to know all of the numbers that are related, so that the doctor can discuss them with you, and how you might, if you need to make improvements, how you might do so. Not smoking would be an improvement. If you do smoke, we want to try to get on the path to not be smoking. Maintaining a normal and good healthy blood pressure. We want to make sure that we are physically active, if not already, and maybe possibly improving if you are physically active, and doing a little bit more if possible. And then also maintaining normal blood glucose levels, so your sugar levels, getting that checked as well. So it's a new year, we might be in the process of getting, a physical, or going for, our healthy checks, and getting all of those numbers, and having the doctor, review those with you, and making sure the importance of prevention. That's what we're looking for. We're stressing the importance of prevention, no matter what our age. We want to just look at the risk and try to reduce it. So which path will you choose? Aging gracefully is like a fine wine. They both only just get better with age. So it's important to know that you will be happier with a purposeful life. So, we're looking at our health when it came to like the physical aspect of our health. We just talked about that. We said, we're going to go to the doctor, we're going to get those numbers checked, and we want to make sure that those physical things that we can do are taken care of. But there's other things we have to make sure that we take care of as well. Our mental well-being and our happiness is extremely important as well. So we want to make sure that we have a purpose. We have things to look forward to, that we embrace the happy things that make us happy throughout each day. We find something that keeps you happy. You maybe have a goal you want to set. Maybe you're going on vacation soon. Maybe you like to travel. Maybe you just like to spend time with family and friends. What motivates you? What drives you? What gives you that sense of purpose? Follow that path. Follow those things that give you motivation and keep you going, and live that happy life. There's studies that show very much so that happier people live longer. So there are always ways to keep you challenged, and it is important to know that those challenges help you, get a sense of accomplishment. So we all have things that come up in life. We've all gone through maybe these past few years where it's been very daunting and very difficult to get through some of the things that we've gone through. And there will be things in the future. So know that, you can recover from them, and you will both move forward physically and mentally and continue on. And that will help you grow and help you mentally get past. So that is a great challenge, to sort of know you're better for it in the end. So set yourself some goals if you can. It's obviously the new year. We tend to do that anyway, but make sure that they're small enough and you're setting yourself up for success. You want to make sure that you're staying motivated and you're not setting these grandiose, lofty goals that are not attainable. You want to maybe take a little, you might have a large goal in mind, but how are you going to get to the large goal? So maybe smaller baby step little goals are there to get you to the large goal. You don't have, think of, whatever sport you might like, and you have to do a series of steps in order to get to the large ending, goal at the end. So it's not just run and do it. You have to do many steps ahead in order to get to the large goal. So think of the same thing. You're going to have a few baby steps or a few things you have to do in order to get to your large attainable goal. So that way you'll have small successes in the meantime, and you'll be able to celebrate those successes, and then you'll feel accomplished and stay motivated as well. So these are some things that you can do to help maintain your health and your well-being. So it's not only a physical health, but it's also a mental health and a happiness, and it helps you feel accomplished. And that is what we are looking for. So we want to get started with some of those healthy habits. Just a little longevity tip. Make sure you're including some adequate foods that include healthy vitamins and minerals and all those antioxidants that help keep us healthy, help our nutrients, keeping us, invigorated throughout the day, help us get our body going and staying focused to keep all of our brain health and everything we need to stay focused on what we're doing and our tasks throughout the day. But some of our, wellness, welfare, as I was liking to call it, is we want to eat smart, we want to be active, we want that mental wellness, as I was just mentioning. We want to stay social. We need to make sure we're staying social. If any of us, I'm sure all of us really, those last couple of years had a time period where we were very isolated at some point in time. And it can be kind of very difficult to get through. So staying social, whether it be through something like this, like a Zoom or something, or a phone call, or letters, or physical social, if you're able to be with family and friends. But it's important for that self-care, for taking care of yourself, also your physical self-care, taking care of yourself physically as well. Stress therapy, knowing that you're taking care of stress in your life is important as well. Financial fitness, so that you don't have the stresses that financial burdens can bring on as well. And even if that's just taking a small step to take care of your finances as well, those small steps add up as well. Those annual checkups we were talking about earlier, that's important. And sleep awareness, we're going to talk about that in a minute or two as well. So eating smart, making sure you enjoy a variety of foods, a food from each food group to help reduce the risk of chronic disease. That means fruits, vegetables, you can see in the upper corner here, fruits, vegetables, grains, proteins, dairies, all of the food groups. There's a reason that we really stress all the food groups, because it is important to have a variety of foods. It's important to get foods from each group. It is important to eat a rainbow, and we're not talking about Skittles. It is important to make sure that you have different nutrients and different vitamins from each food, from each colorful food, and each area of different food groups. Try to limit the sugar that you're ingesting, limit your saturated fats. Those are the fats that are not so great for us, and limit the amount of sodium or salt that's in your diet as well. Getting enough protein throughout your day to maintain your muscle mass is important, and focusing on the nutrients that you might need, particularly the potassium, calcium, vitamin D, dietary fiber, and vitamin B12. Those are ones we tend to lack, especially as we age. So it's important to focus on those. And with age, we tend to lose sometimes the sense of thirst. We tend to not think we're as thirsty as we are. So it's really is important to stay hydrated, even more so in the winter now. I find, it's really easy to be like, I'm not thirsty, I'm cold, I don't want to drink anything. Well, it's really important to make sure, even if you're drinking, a cup of tea, that still counts, maybe an herbal tea or something, that way you're warm. A lot of the times you think cold drinks. It doesn't have to be a cold drink. It can be a cup of, coffee, tea, something that's warm, keeping you warmed up. Water, milk, 100% juice, because if it's not really 100% juice, it probably has a lot of sugar in it. Limit the beverages that add those sugars or the salts. Sodium is another key term. Salt and sodium, they're interchangeable. And maintaining that healthy weight that helps those healthy habits by keeping your active lifestyle. That's really important for the eating smart category. This is just a form I had found that I wanted to put on here. So healthy eating with families. This is important for that socialization, connecting, turning off the TV at mealtime, connecting, sitting down together, having just a little conversation that helps the socialization, mental aspect, and your wellness. For your mental wellness, your mental acuity, having an actual conversation, planning out your meals. Don't just, I'll just eat whatever, planning out, think about it. Oh, last night's dinner might be left over for your lunch today. That's fine. That works. including little, trips. If you go shopping once a week, planning out your meal plan for the week so that if there was, a lot of chicken on sale, let's say, and you make it for a few nights, that's important to know that you have, different things, or you have a really busy schedule and you know that you're not going to have, time to make a meal every single night. You can plan out what's going to carry over and know that that's how it's going to work out with your meals. If you have young ones in your life, you can absolutely let them help you, give them jobs, let them, help cook, set the table, wash, the produce, or have them mixing ingredients and things like that. The more the merrier, and they absolutely will love to help create different, recipes and get involved, and they'll love tasting it because they created it. Serving a variety of foods is important, not only for the family and the friends, but yourself as well, because that will help maybe spark a little new creativity, try to get different recipes included and try something new. Letting a child maybe choose something new that they thought maybe they might not like, or, just something new that they hadn't even thought of before, that helps engage them in the family dynamic, but also having them try a different item that they never had before. And then always thinking about offering non-food rewards. It doesn't always have to be, oh, we're going to go get ice cream tonight. But just that they get a reward for being part of the family and, helping out making the dish or being creative and trying something new. It doesn't always have to be a food reward, even for yourself. It doesn't have to be a child. I mean, I do that as well. If you're trying something new and I'm like, oh, I'm not sure about this recipe, but we tried it and we liked it, or we didn't like it. And, but what we're going to do now is we're going to go for a family hike, and that's our reward. So, we try different things and families do not have to be, the dynamic of the family within the home. A family is just a couple people together that are hanging out, doing the same group of activities. So it could be a family within a, neighborhood where a couple of people are getting together to enjoy a meal together. And that could be the family in the moment, and it's just enjoying time together. So that term doesn't necessarily have to be blood relatives. So staying active, this is very important. I think all of us are realizing and know, but not only for your physical, but your mental well-being. I think if you are an active person, you know this. Going out, riding a bike, going for a walk, doing something physically active in your home, if you have some equipment, even if you're just sitting in a chair and you're doing some like arm exercises or your leg exercises in a chair, the sense that you get, because what it does is it actually releases hormones in your brain, and they are endorphins that are happy hormones, and it actually does make you happier. So the mental well-being you get from being physically active is real. It's not made up. It is actually a chemical that is released into your brain, and it does make you happier. So those little small bursts of physical activity that you can do throughout the day, they are actually building up throughout the day, and they can quickly add up and help your body just be part of your happiness throughout the day. So making small changes wherever you can help improve your health. So for instance, if you're going to a meeting, if you're going to the food store, if you're going to the mall, if you can just park a little further, if you can just take an extra little walk around the mall, adding that little extra physical activity will benefit you in the long run. And if you can, if you're, still working and you need to get up, maybe try getting up every hour, about every 45 to 60 minutes, and standing. And then for about 3 minutes, if you can, getting up and either getting up and sitting down and getting up and sitting down and getting up and sitting down, like doing something like that, like an up and down motion, or walking, just walking. Like in our office, I'll just get up and walk around the building, or physically outside. Today it's been raining, but physically outside for just about 3 minutes every hour to help your body move. Our bodies are not created to be stagnant and not moving. So they are created to be, moving basically as much as they can. So this will help improve your focus. This will help loosen those muscles and prevent the stiffness. And standing up and moving about 10 times, that every hour will help stimulate the blood flow, will help your brain keep focus, will help your body sort of relax and loosen up. So that will help clear your mind as well, so that you can come back and focus on the task that you were working on. The fresh air, if you can get outside, helps you sort of breathe it in, listen to maybe the birds, maybe see what's going on outside, clears your mind, helps you sort of take it all in, take a few minutes, and then you could refocus on whatever it was that you were working on. So make sure you can actually schedule this time, schedule the exercise into your day. We schedule everything else into our day. It is important to make sure that we schedule this as well, so it becomes part of our daily routine. So how to help our mental wellness? This is part of our wellness as well. So I was talking about those hormones, and one of which we need as well to help boost our serotonin levels. So serotonin is one of those hormones I was mentioning, is to make sure we get our sunshine vitamin. Our sunshine vitamin is vitamin D, and our body will naturally make vitamin D if you get your sunshine each day. So about 20 minutes a day. And we're not talking about, sitting outside and just getting the sun baking on you. We're talking about just the natural amount of sun we might get each day. And, a cloudy day, you get less, but over the course of time, you will just go in and out outside, from the door to the car, from the car, walking around outside with the dog or the kids, or just, going here and there. Your body will naturally make some vitamin D, because you get about 90% of your vitamin D from the sun and only about 10% from the food that we're eating. So we need to make sure we're getting our sunshine vitamin, our vitamin D, because we need our vitamin D in order for our body to absorb that calcium that we need for our strong bones, right? So we have to make sure we're getting enough. There are also, levels of serotonin that is created to make us happy. And I told you, happier people live longer. So we need to make sure we're also having a couple minutes each day to just be. And I say that because whatever it is, some people like to just listen to music and just sit and have soothing music. Some people might have a picture that they like to look at and just sort of reminisce. Some people might like to just let your mind wander. Some people like to meditate. Some people like to, maybe take a walk. Whatever it is that you do that helps you just kind of turn off the world, turn off your to-do list. I've got 40,000 things that I've got to get done, and I've got like 2 hours to get them done. We all know we have that list. We all know that it doesn't get done in one day. And every day the list rolls over to the next day, and you kind of tick off the list and you think, okay, I got 2 things done on the list of 40, and one more thing the next day gets done. We all have that list, but each day you have to take a few minutes to just say to yourself, it's okay. It's okay to say a moment for myself. It might be your car ride home. Turn off the music, turn on the music, whatever it is that you can just kind of turn off everybody else. Don't, let it be that you have to listen to, the craziness of the world, and it makes you stressed out, and you feel like that driving home. No, you need that time. And maybe it's not the drive home. Maybe it's once you are home and you're just have a cup of tea and it gives you a moment to just relax. That's what it is. It's that moment that I'm talking about. Also making time for laughter. We've all heard the phrase, laughter is the best medicine. So laughing more does also release those happy hormones. You have dopamine, serotonin, you have all these hormones that are in your brain. They are released when you exercise, when you laugh, when you do things that help release those hormones that help you feel good. These feel good endorphins and hormones, that laughing is good. And it is true, and these hormones will help you feel good and help you feel better. So it is important to help with your brain health and your mental health there as well. Eating more fish and seafood, research has shown that this will help improve your memory function as well. And they have many, many brain boosting benefits. So trying to get more fin fish and seafood into your diet is really great as well. If you can, about 2 or 3 times a week would be a wonderful benefit for you also. Staying social, I mentioned this earlier, maintaining some of those social activities and relationships throughout the years is important. We tend to sometimes, as we age, just kind of be a little bit more secluded and, oh, it's fine. I don't mind if I stay in. Once in a while, that's fine. I love a day inside and just, let me be. But it is very important for our mental health and our social activities to be with other people. Trying new things, maybe go on, a trip together, or playing games, going to, play the newest bingo night or whatever the new game is, or getting out and being social for whatever, maybe a new dance night and learning a new dance or something like this. This actually has helped, and there's been studies that are showing that might help reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease as well, trying a lot of these different social events. Maintaining that positive attitude and self-esteem can help enhance your brain vitality as well. Staying engaged with others can help reduce your risk of mental health disorders. And by living a life of meaningful relationships, people tend to feel less depressed and reduce their risk for Alzheimer's and dementia. So that's really important to remember as well. So you're not only just helping yourself physically right now, but you're also thinking about the future, and that you want to keep your brain engaged and your mental health healthy for the longevity of things, and keeping yourself happy as well. Habits for happiness. We want to look at this and think about the research that suggests, as I mentioned, happier people living longer. Finding value in your job. It's not all of us have great jobs, and we all say, oh, I hate my job today. Oh, we all have days like that. But finding that value in your job or your hobby or your life and your activities that lead you to happiness is really important. And knowing that you have a purpose to go to, purposeful friends and families leading to that meaningful time together and engaging in the memories that you're making is important. Finding pleasure in your day-to-day activities. Maybe it's not your job. Maybe you're like, I really can't find happiness in my job, but my job is my job. I got to get to my job. But then you find that your job is what leads you to your happiness, because you do have time to spend with your family and your friends. And we want you to get there. So how many times a day are you able to smile and think about, oh, I can't wait to get home because I get to be with my family and friends? And have you felt joy in the past 24 hours? Do at least one thing a day that makes you happy. One thing, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to tell anybody what it is, but just do at least one thing that makes you happy. But I just wanted to read you this little fact here, that the happiest people tend to live 8 years longer than the saddest people. And with that being said, getting at least 7.5 hours of sleep per night, those people tend to live longer than people who get 6 hours of sleep per night. People who sleep 6 hours of sleep per night are 30% less happy. So think about that. So if you sleep at least 7.5 hours per night, you get at least 7.5 hours of sleep per night, and you're happy, you're going to live a great, long, happy life. These are just facts. These are studies that have been shown. When I was doing the research for this program, and I kept thinking to myself, what makes people live longer? What makes people live to 100? How do people live to 100? What makes them live to 100? And honestly, it came down to the simple facts. They're happy and they keep doing their life the way they were doing their life. They keep active, they keep eating healthy, they keep doing things that just made their lives purposeful. It wasn't any special recipe for long living healthy life. There wasn't a special diet they ate other than a healthy diet. They didn't do anything particular that was different except being active and keep moving and keep doing things that made them happy. That's what the recipe for a long, healthy life was. So it was quite interesting. And I read study and study after study to try to do that when I was learning about this program and putting it together. So stress is quite interesting because we all have stress. It doesn't matter if anybody's like, no, I never have stress. No, you have stress. Everybody has stress. Stress is a normal part of life. Stress is your body's response to either real or imagined events in your life. So we've all had a nightmare, right? You've probably woken up sometimes from your nightmare and either caught yourself like screaming out or crying sometimes or sweating or just like jostled in your sleep. That's imagined. That is an imagined threat. In your brain, it's a nightmare, but your body responded to it. Your body physically did something, and it is an imagined threat, but it's stressed. Or sometimes something happens in your real life and your body reacts that same way. Your heart races, you might start sweating, you get flushed and red in the cheeks. That's still stress. Sometimes there's good stresses. Sometimes somebody tells you they're getting married and you get all excited and your face gets red and your heart starts to race and you get very excited. Same kind of stress, same physical things happening. And that's a good stress. So stress can be good or bad, but your body still reacts to the stress. So here's some things that can be good or bad for stress. So if we're looking at the bad stresses, we want to make sure that we're limiting things like caffeine, sugar, salt, alcohol. These all raise our blood sugar and our heart rate and our blood pressure. So the way that we can control that is making sure that we are in great physical health. And by having enough physical activity helps us respond to the stress and bring our body back to normal faster. Because your body's going to respond to stress no matter what, even if it's fake and even if it's imagined. Your body will respond to stress at a quicker rate if you are in better physical health. You can also help your body by doing some deep breathing activities, maybe by laughing and doing some muscle relaxation, by helping your body say, oh, okay, let's bring ourselves back. That stress, okay, we need to relieve the stress. Laughter has a positive effect on both your physical and your brain health. Think about when you laugh and your stomach hurts so much because you've laughed so hard. That is a physical response to the, your body, but yet it's releasing all those happy hormones, as I mentioned, in your brain, and it's helping relieve some of the stress that's going on. So laughing, if you're feeling really stressed throughout the day, go home, maybe watch a really funny movie. This movie makes you laugh throughout the day, no matter what is going on. It's the funniest movie you've ever seen. And you might be in the worst mood you've ever been, but if you put that movie on, it's going to make you laugh. That will help relieve some of your stress. Try it next time and see what happens. So handling the stress, you might go for a walk. Maybe try taking a few minutes before you grab that snack. We've all done the stress eating, right? We grab that salty, sugary, fatty snack. Take a few minutes before you do so. Just like, before I grab that snack, I'm not going to grab the snack. I'm going to take a minute. That little delay might help you rethink your choice and try go for a walk maybe instead. That might help just recenter the fact that you're not going to have the unhealthy choice, and you're going to make the healthier choice because now you've gone for a walk, you've taken yourself away from the unhealthy option, and now you're actually doing the healthier thing by using that energy, that stressed energy, and using that extra energy to expel that stress and walk it off. Maybe meditation is your thing and that helps you reduce your stress, that helps your mental health. You can help reduce anxiety that way. It can even help reduce your high blood pressure. Sometimes it even helps to reach out to a family or a friend in your social support network and help get through a difficult time. Maybe you like to talk it out. You're that, you need to release your stress that way and sort of just like, listen to me. I just got to tell you this. I have to just go at it and let that person like hear you out and you talk through it. And by the time you're done, you feel relaxed and you're de-stressed. Maybe you take that time to unwind, whatever that is to you, as I've said before. Might be, walking the dog, reading a book, taking a bath, sort of just relaxing, whatever those stressors are, to just relax. All different things to handle stress, whatever they are to you, you just sort of keep that into, the back of your mind. Maybe you got to write them down, keep a little journal, have a little list of different things that helps you relieve your stress. Financial fitness, I mentioned earlier. Sorry. Talking about finances is actually often more taboo than any other topics. A lot of people don't really like to talk about their finances. However, it can really cause a lot of that stress, a lot of our woes. So just a few tips here. I would really recommend really trying to make sure we're spending wisely, that we're budget savvy, knowing your own budget. Everybody's is different. Having our savings goals and build that savings whenever you can, watching your credit. And it is really helpful to speak to a financial consultant if you're not really sure where you should be financially, and depending on your income and your debt and where you are, talk to a financial consultant and see where you might be able to make some improvements. Keeping that brain sharp, that's really where we need to make sure we're focusing. I mentioned some of these before. We want to make sure we're getting enough B vitamins, our vitamin C, vitamin E, iron, and selenium. Zinc is important for the brain, as well as magnesium, folate, vitamin D, and those omega-3 fatty acids. Those are going to come from a lot of our nuts and our seafood and fish sources. If your diet doesn't include some of the foods that might have these sources and these elements, you might actually start to feel a little bit irritable, and you might have trouble concentrating. So it's really important to help improve our memory function, and just know that some of those brain boosting benefits comes from eating fish. And since the brain and nervous system are made up mostly, or partially at least, of fat, it is stands to reason that having more of the healthy fats, so we're looking at unsaturated fats, the more we eat, the better we might be. So some of those brain boosting foods might be green vegetables, fatty fishes like tuna, mackerel, things like that. Berries are nuts, something like walnuts. And I always like to tell everybody, if you look at a walnut, it looks a little bit like a brain. So right there, it's good for your brain. Dark chocolate, really high in antioxidants. Avocado is one of those healthy unsaturated fats. And then we have beans or legumes, as well as whole grains. Those are really some of the healthier brain foods. So just keeping it all in check. Our little checklist here. We want to check off that we've done our annual doctor checkups, and making sure that we've checked off the list and done whatever the doctors have made sure that we need to help with our prevention, and making sure that we might be able to make some improvements if we need them. Check your pulse and keep on moving. So make sure we're having our physical activity. Check in on your family and friends, staying social, making sure that you have that social engagement, keeping yourself socially active as well as your family and friends. Checking in on your Z's. We mentioned how important it is to make sure that a good night's sleep, and the value there of getting at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, is important for our health and our well-being. Checking in on your piggy bank and making sure your financial fitness is in check, and checking your plate and staying on course and making sure you're eating healthy as well. So how's your attitude? If you were to assign a number to a letter, and you were to write out the word attitude, and like the letter A is number 1, and if you went down the list, the letter T is, it would be a value of 20, but we have 3 T's in this word, and you added up all of those numbers, it is 100%. So by having a positive approach to aging, and knowing that we all want to age more gracefully, healthfully, and it will definitely increase your longevity. So it is 100% all about your attitude. So we definitely want to make sure that your attitude is always at 100% and that you are looking out for yourself and others. And if you have a great social network, you will greatly improve your chances of living a long, healthy life and hopefully, be able to make improvements along the way, because like I said earlier, it is never too late to start. So that is it. And I hope that we can answer any questions that there may be.